Welcome to Unit 4, which is called Introduction to Fractions 1. So this is the first time fractions are really mentioned, and this is in real Shanghai Mathematics Practice Book 3.2. This particular unit consists of 3 parts. The first one is called Whole and Part, and let's go with this. So question 1. Consider A and B each as a whole. Draw lines to connect A and B with the corresponding parts 1, 2, and 3, then write the numbers. Okay, fine. So basically they're showing you difference between a whole and a part. So A consists of 2 parts, well, more than 2 parts, but this one A, number 2, number 4 can be parts of A and are parts of A, whereas with B, the steering wheel 1 and the tire would be parts of parts of B. Okay, so again, showing you difference between a whole and a part. Question 2, a strip of paper is divided in half. One on the left is half of the paper strip, and on the right is also half of the paper strip. So write part or whole. Okay, fine. So on the left is part of the paper strip, the right is also part of the paper strip. And similar there, if you think of the solar system as a whole, then those sun and the 8 planets, sun and the center, 8 planets, satellites. So the sun, planets, satellites, dwarf planets are all parts of it. You see, use real life examples and then fill in the brackets if you regard something as a whole, then something as a part. So any example, if you say, if you regard a house as a whole, then a window is part of it, and so on and so forth. And then moving on to the second part, which are called unit fractions. So fill in the blanks. Emma's father bought a rectangular cake divided into 10 pieces. Each piece is how much of the whole? That is, so each piece is a part of the whole cake, and that is how much of the whole. So if you split something into 8 parts and they have to be all equal parts, they have to be all the same size for this to be working. So in this case, if you go with so if you go with parts, 10 parts in that one, so we do 10, okay, let's do 10, 3. And you have to just imagine that these are all the same size. Then one of these is going to be 1 out of 10, and the way we write that is 1/10. Okay, and the whole, in this kind of context, the whole will be described as 1. So 1 will be the whole lot, which is 10 out of 10. Or you could say 10 out of 10, but we normally write that as 1. All the pieces that is 10, and one of these will be 1 out of 10, if 2 of these will be 2 out of 10, and so on and so forth. And then it goes on to circle, 8 parts, so that will be 1/8. A meter will be a half, because 1 out of 2, so 1 over 2, and then the other one, 7 equal parts, so each of them will be 1/7. B, for page 59, write a fraction in the brackets below. So it's got to be equal size. So that one will be one out of the total amount of pieces in the circle are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1 over 5. So 1/5. Half. Next one, they're all equal size of 4 of them. So 1/4. The last one is a bit trickier, but you need to realize, and I should be able to realize, that that's 1/4 because the shape. Although the other bit has a triangle there, the shape is still exactly the same as that, and it's half the shape, half the rectangle as shown there. So this will be 1 out of 4, because those little pieces, if you make, let's perhaps draw this so you understand. So they've done this in this particular shape. Okay, and they've done that, and then this one is a quarter, because if you can split, although I know there's a line here, we don't have to go with that. We can go with the same shape. So that shape here, because this is still the same size as that side, so that's going to be there. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is one color, so we 1/4, 1/4 of that. And then moving on to question 2, if we divide a rectangular piece of paper into 7 equal parts, each of them is 1/7 of a rectangular piece. So that sounds about right. Each child gets a quarter. B seems right. If you divide a whole in 5 equal parts, each of them is 1/5 the whole. So sounds true to me. Um, does the fraction represent that part 1/5 for the question 3? No, it's not 1/5. If you look at it carefully, there are actually two parts in there. That's 2/5. The other one is split up into 5 parts. It can't be a quarter. And the third one can't be a third because they have to be all the same size. They're clearly not the same size. That piece is much larger than the other side. And perhaps it's a quarter because those are 2 times the other one. But don't worry too much about this, but right or wrong at the moment. Question 4, write the answers in the bracket. 1/6 of 1 meter is how many meters? So I'm not sure how they want you to write it, but I will write that's a 1/6 of a meter. I'll put 1/6 in there again. Okay, a half of 1 kilometer is, as I say, I'm not sure how they're doing this. I'll just put half in there again. 1/7 of a meter is 1/7 of 1 meter, and so on and so forth. Again, check the answers. Maybe they're done in a slightly different way. And then 5a, again, depending on the parts, we just do the last one. So the last one, the tiniest one, is 1. How many? How many parts are there altogether? 3, 6, 7, 8. So that's 1/8 of a meter. And then you can compare the two. Okay, so you can compare the two for B, half or a third. Which one's bigger? The half is bigger because it's splitting up a shape in half instead of 3 pieces. So that's gonna be half's gonna be bigger, and a third is going to be bigger than an eighth, and a third is bigger than a fourth, and so on and so forth. Level B, and rectangle A overlaps rectangle B as shown below. Shaded section that overlaps the two rectangles is how much of rectangle A, rectangle B, and so on and so forth. Okay, so try that one. Wording is quite confusing, so if you're stuck with that, don't worry too much about that. Okay, and then moving on to page 61, write a fraction of the brackets that represents the circle part. So in this particular case, which one shall we do? Okay, let's do one of them. So you've got circles, and it looks like we've got 12 of these circles. Okay, 12 of these circles. 12 of them. 12 of them. Okay, and then they circle this bit here. Now you have to look at something identical to that. So we don't look at this. Identical to that would be another one of these. Okay, that's identical to that, and that's identical to that, and that's identical to that. So one of these is 1 out of all of these. 4 of these parts similar. Remember, they have to be the same. So this is a quarter, and the next one, which is this way around, is a third, and the last one, because it's only one of them, then identical pieces to that, there are 12 of them. So that's 1/12. Okay, and then question 2 for page 61. Hopefully, be more straightforward. We'll do the third one. So we have to split them up into three equal parts. So how much are there? So in each one, and we could do that and go to the rows. So row of 4 hearts. One of those will be a third. Question 3, in the picture, 1/3 of apple is how many? 1/3. Okay, so again, we need to split it up into 3 equal parts. The way to do that is by going down the rows again of a circle. So each circle that covers it will have to cover 2 apples because then they'll be identical to each other. Question 4, there are 8 children in a group. One child is 1/8. Okay, and of the group, and 4 children. 4 children be 4/8. 4/8, you can write that, but you can also write 4/8 as a half as well because they are the same thing. Question level B, fill in the missing numbers. So 1/3 of 9 star is what? 1/3 of 9. Okay, 1/3 of 9 stars. If the 9 stars, 1/3 of them will be what? Well, they have to be equal parts. So there'll be 3 lots of 3s. So 3 times 3 is 9. Or if you need to draw the circle stars out, then that's fine. Half of 4 is 2. In the picture below, the total area of the white part of the square is 3 times the area of the shaded part. So the total area of the white part of the square is 3 times of the part. Okay, fine. The area of the shaded part is what then of the square? So if there's 3 other parts, they're equal size. Altogether, the parts will be 4 parts. Okay, altogether there'll be 4 parts, and therefore that shaded area would be a quarter. So again, let's show this quickly here. Hopefully, you can see that the shaded part, they're saying this part here. Okay, one part, and we can have actually like that, and all of them same size. You have to assume my picture's not great, and in that case, this will be 1/4. Okay, of that. And the last part of this is called non-unit fractions. So let's see what they're referring to here. A circle is divided into how many equal parts? You just have to count the parts. It looks like, how many parts are there? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Does that look like 8? No, 9. 9 equal parts. There are how many parts in the shaded area? So there are 6 in the shaded parts, which is the shaded parts of the circle. Okay, fine. The paper strip is divided into how many parts? Again, it should be fairly straightforward. C, regard the 12 parts as a whole. The whole is divided into how many equal parts? So their equal parts are, the whole is divided into 12 equal parts. Each part is 12. The whole, there are how many parts? Okay, you could do it that way, or you could even put a circle and do it as a 3/4, or so on and so forth. The number of boys in the group for the children are 2 out of total is 5. Number of 2/5. The number of bananas is 1 out of the total. How many is total? 3, 7, 1/7, and so on and so forth. And then question 2, 64, in page 64. So 4 out of the total of how many are there? They look like there are 9. Is that 9? 6, 9. Yeah, they look like that. And so on and so forth for the other ones. Shade in the parts for question 3. So shade in the 7 parts of the rectangle. Then you need to color in 6 of them. 11 out of 20. So there's 20 altogether. Color 11, and then 2 of 6 should be straightforward. Just color 2 out of those 6 triangles, which makes up the hexagon. Multiple choice. Count the picture. Count the picture. Squares is how many of the whole? Okay, so the 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're 4 out of how many altogether? 3, 6. So there's count. Okay, so it's not they want the other one. So they want the is okay. Okay. I understood now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the shaded one is 5 out of 12, and the other one will be the leftover, which will be 7, because 7 plus 5 equals 12. And then we've got that one there. D, the B, well, you can see from the diagram, they are equal. They are equal to each other. You can see they're equal. So we have to go 1/5 is equal to 2/10. And then we've got B to do. Again, optional if you want to do it. 4 children have fully shared out the whole box of chocolate. So the chocolate Dylan and Puppy received together, how many of the total of the chocolate? So Dylan got 4 chocolates. I got 1 more than Dylan, so she's got 5. I got as many as Dylan, that's 4. I got 1 less than Puppy, so that's going to be 3. So then add them together, that'll be a total. And then Dylan and Puppy, add those numbers together, and it'll be over the total that you have worked out. And then moving on to page 66, fill in the brackets. 3 1 meter is how many? 3 1 meter, sorry, 3 1/4 is going to be 3/4, okay? And then 5 1/7 is going to be 1/7. So hopefully that makes sense. So if you've got 3 1/4, that all that means is that the quarters are being added up. The quarter plus a quarter plus a quarter, and so on, which is going to be 3/4, okay? Because these are identical to each other. So if you're confused about that, then just draw a picture. Quarter, right? So all it means is that's 1/4, and there's 3/4 of them. So it's going to obviously be these and this one quarter, which is going to be 3/4. Okay, and that's same for the other one, and should be straightforward again. 4 something meters is 1 meter. So 1 meter, remember, is a whole. So 4 quarter meters will be equal to 1 is 1 meter. 1 is how many thirds? So 3/3 are going to be a whole. Anything else shall we do? 1 meter. Okay, let's just see. 1c, 1 meter equals 5/5, 8/8, 12/12, and then any other number. As long as the top and bottom are the same, then that'll be a whole. And question 2, shall we just do the first one? If 12 eggs are divided into 4 equal parts, each part is a quarter of eggs. Is that right? If they're divided, yes, that's right. If they're 4 equal parts, then each one will be a quarter of the eggs. Okay, that's true. Question 3, look at the picture, right, as following. So we can see there half is equal to 2/4 and also 4/8. So hopefully that makes sense. And then we got level B, which is optional, folding a paper. So we just do the shaded part. So it's just about counting of the whole. So how many triangles are they all together? And then that'll be at the bottom bit. And then how many triangles shaded will be at the top. And similar for B, but B is a bit trickier. You'll have to draw in the triangles so you can see what the shape will look like. And then you count the total triangles. Remember, each shape triangle has to be the same. So it'll be 2 out of whatever the total amount is. And then 3, again, a little bit trickier. So we've got the holes, and you have to work out how they've been split. So you can see, I'll do the far corner. You can see that's 1/4, and then quarter, and then the other one, the other two at the bottom are half of the quarter. So half of a quarter is 8, meaning 8 of those pieces would have made the total. And the far top corner will be a 16th, because 4 of those make up a quarter. So that's a 16th, because 16 of those little squares would have made up a whole. And then moving on to page 68, and then finally 69, which is the last one, shade in the parts. So 5, 6 should be straightforward. 3/4 should be straightforward as well. Color in the quarter, so you need to know how many are there all together. There's 8 of them. So how many do you need to color? You need to color 2 of them, and you can circle 2 around it, and you can see that there'll be 4 lots of those. And 3/4, again, coloring in 3/4. You need to first work out how you're splitting up them into quarters, and then do that. And then ones are 2/3. Again, 2/3, put circle around the top row, and you get 3 rows like that, 3 rows, and then you just color in 2 and 2/5. I think there's altogether probably 10 here. Yes, 10. And so there'll probably be 4 that you need to color in. And then you got level B, who drank the most milk, who left the most milk. So again, these are a bit trickier ones. If you want to try that, fair enough, but they are much harder usually, especially in fractions, which you're new to. And question 2 is also level B. It looks like it. So the shaded part, again, draw in the rectangles to the same shape, so that helps you be able to count the whole, and then do it, because they're not all the same size at the moment. And then you got, if Dylan takes 5, 6 of a pack, then he has taken how many lollipops? If there are 12 altogether. So you've got bottom page, you've got 12 shown there. So if you could split that up into 6 equal parts, so that'll probably be 2 in each one, and therefore it's going to be 10. Alex says 4, how much will that be? If you look at the shape, circle 4, and how many of those will be? There'll be 3 lots of those, so it'll be 1/3. And with that, we end this topic. Please do share and like and subscribe and spread the word. That'd be great. Thank you.